Okay, today I'm going to walk through the steps to replace a thermostat on a 2012 Dodge Caravan. I was getting a P0128 error code, which is a thermostat, and here are the tools that you're going to need. Socket wrench, a 10mm socket, and a deep socket is best. If you don't have a deep socket, then I'd use a small one with a little extension bar, and pliers for the clip, flat screwdriver to just get the thermostat out of the pipe or out of the hose, and I would get some containers that are sort of flat and deep to catch any of the fluid that comes out. When I did it, I lost about half a gallon, and so these contained pretty much all of it. I spilled a little bit on the ground, but not too much. So those are the tools. And here's the actual thermostat. This is the old one that I've already taken out, but I'll walk through the steps that I took and a couple of tips that are important. So if you look at the engine from the front, obviously you have the radiator here, follow this big hose all the way down, and it leads to the thermostat, which I'm pointing at right there with my finger. That's the top of it, just like, so it sits in there just like that. Here's the bleeder screw with my thumb, you can see over there, and it sits in there basically just like that. There are two screws, and that's the 10mm bolt, one here at the bottom, one at the top. And if I put the camera in there, I don't think I can really see it, but I'm touching it with my finger. There's the top one, just on off camera there. There, I can see it. So there's the top 10mm bolt. There's one directly below it that you're not going to be able to see. You're just going to have to feel it with your hands. And so what I did was, first I just took out both screws, or sorry, both bolts. And with that loose, obviously the fluid's going to start coming out. Initially, you probably won't lose too much, but once you take, what I did was I had the hosing out, or the housing out. I took the entire hose and brought it up to about here, and then, right then, once I had that gravity going, then it all started shot out of there, and that's where you'll lose the half gallon. With that hose and the housing attached, they'll be just basically sitting right here. From there, you can more easily take the pliers and that clamp and squeeze it, then sort of twist this out of there. It's going to take two hands to twist that out of there. The reason I did it up here instead of down there, taking the hose off, is because of that clamp. It's hard to get at. You can see that you have radiator cap and power steering fluid over here. You've got windshield wiper fluid. There's a lot of things in your way. It's very difficult to get your hands in there to maneuver around. It's hard to get into through here because of this housing. So just taking out the two bolts and then bringing it up right through here will allow it to sit right here, and then you can easily take that clamp off of there. Then with the thermostat off of there, thermostat off of the hose, what I did then was take the new thermostat and place it on there and bolt it into place. Now, something to keep in mind is that the thermostat has a rubber gasket, and it's placed right here on the thermostat, and it sits in this groove. When I took mine off, the gasket actually stayed on the side, so you have to make sure that when you take the old one off, either make sure that it's not stuck on the side, because obviously if you try to put the new thermostat on top of an existing gasket that's just sort of hanging on there, you're not going to get a good seal. So just make sure that when you take the old one off, that it's either in here like it should be, or that you run your fingers along there and make sure there's nothing sticking on there. So once you've made sure that that is taken care of, you put the new hose back, or sorry, put the new thermostat back on there, and you're going to have to, again, you can pretty much see the top one. You won't be able to see it much in my video here. Again, it's right here I'm pointing at, and the bottom one is right underneath of that. Put that in place, then put the hose onto the thermostat housing. If you try to do that up here and put it in there, you're not going to get the angle correct, and it's just going to be harder. So you just put the hose on there, and when you do that, make sure you get the clamp going down. Like you can see, mine is headed down right here. If it's at an angle, a different way, it's really going to be difficult to get the pliers in there and fix it the right way. And it's not easy to do. But put the thermostat housing on there, then put the hose on there, then put the clamp on there. So a little bit different assembly than taking apart. And you'll lose about half a gallon of coolant, and it really isn't too bad of a job, other than your hands being sort of torn up with all the little plastic pieces that you're hitting and metal. The thermostat is about 13 bucks. You can get it for 11 bucks, you can get it for 20 bucks, but 13 is about average, so not too expensive. And the total length of the job was probably maybe a little over an hour, and some of that was, again, just figuring out the right way to, at the end, put the hose on and then the clamp, as opposed to trying to do that all here, which would make sense to make it faster, but it didn't work out that way. That's really all there is to it. Oh, sorry, and then when I put in the fluid, I know there's this bleeder screw on there, but I didn't use that. I put in about some of the fluid in here, maybe half, and I put the other half in here, just sort of eyeballing how much I needed. And if you have a light, and then sort of, you can see down there's the container, and it looks like, if I shake the car a little bit, it'd be easier to see it. I'm below the max line. You can see the red color. I could put in a little bit more, but I think that's good enough. I just sort of split it halfway, turned the car on, let it get hot, drove it around the block a few times, and everything seemed to be pretty good. So that's how you do it. Let me know if you have any comments. I will put in the description a couple of other details. Thank you, and good luck.